3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we got some suggestion to do some unique airplanes, kind of some oddball aircraft. So we're going to go down the road for about 8 or 9 of them for the next couple of months. We're going to throw some interesting airplanes in there. But first, one of the deals with the staff, and this started during COVID, was that I wore whatever hat they wanted to give me, which this is one, and I drank whatever they produced, so I could, so they could have a little bit of fun with me.
Look like a handful of curly fries.
Well, this is certainly fun, Jason. Actually, I saw Jason smile when I put this one on. He obviously enjoyed it. This is going to be interesting. Now, people always ask, what do we do with the hats? We give them to the school kids. When the kids come through, we do about 5,000 kids a year through the facility. One of the lucky kids gets the hat. They get to take it back after they do their tour. We have no idea what happens to it after that. But remember, this is an overview, not really scripted, and we get in and we get out in one take. That's what we're going to do today. So the aircraft that we're talking about today is the F2Y, the Sea Dart, built by Convair. And it was a, if you want to talk about an oddball airplane, this is as oddball as they get. It was, first flight was in 1953. They were retired in 1957, although some of them were kept in reserve until 1962. There were 5 built. There were originally, I think, 12 that were slated, 4 kind of prototype test airplanes and 8 production. They never got there. But if you go back to the series, and we do a lot of stuff in this, on these kind of 50s, 60s era airplanes, they were just banging out airplanes as technology changes. They were trying anything. Remember, they put a nuclear reactor in an airplane during this time frame that cost billions of dollars. So I'm not surprised that we were going to try to do a supersonic seaplane. Well, first let me throw up, this is of course an F-106. I'll throw up the plan view, and you can have Greg at home throw up a plan view of the Sea Dart. Now the Sea Dart was, as I said, the only aircraft to ever exceed the speed of sound. The project was canceled when Charles E. Richburg was killed in a breakup of one of the airplanes when he exceeded the performance tolerance on the airplane, and the airplane broke up. It was Convair's early 1948 entry into supersonic aircraft. And what was happening was, and we're going to do a lot of interesting aircraft in this field, but they were really pushing the boundaries, and they were trying to get as many game-changing jets fielded. The problem was in 1948 is you could not get, and you can look at like an F-106 or any of these supersonic aircraft, especially, remember, we're still dealing with and Greg can throw it up, the area rule. They were still kind of not understanding that. And so they were pushing these airframes harder and harder. This is no different. And the thing was, these aircraft were not conducive to go off aircraft carriers. They were too big. There were too many handling characteristics. They hadn't solved those yet when they went out with this design in 1948. They did it later, but they didn't do it yet. And so the thought process was, and we'll talk about some vertical aircraft, takeoff aircraft as well, if you could get away from the need for an aircraft carrier launch and recovery and have these things land on skis or take off on skis, you've solved a big problem. Ernest Stouts was the guy who actually had the idea on the whole ski program and how it could plane, and so we'll give him credit. The aircraft was originally slated for XJ46 engines. They weren't available, so they went with a J34 WE32 engine that were installed, incredibly underpowered, and the airplane, again, because they didn't understand the area rule yet, was having a horrible time going supersonic. It could not get there, and it was an underpowered airplane, very sluggish. And remember, we talked about what I call Swiss Army knife airplanes before. This is a kind of a Swiss Army knife, not so much in weapon systems, but you're trying to get this airplane to do a whole bunch of nifty stuff and take off on a really unconventional service, which is water. There was a conversation, and I do my best work on this. Char will tell you, is that I do my best work drawing things out on a cocktail napkin. There was a cocktail napkin design, and it only got that far because they never solved a whole bunch of issues, but they're actually talking about also submarine launching this aircraft, if you can think about that. Everything was on the table back then, and don't ask me, they never got past just well, hey, wouldn't it be cool? And they talked about it a little bit, but there were conversations about, and the Japanese, at the end of World War II had submarine launched kind of attack aircraft because they were trying to deal with the issue of not being able to get close to the United States and get bombed. But, there have been throughout history these submarine aircraft carriers. This thing never got that far. It was only in the prototype rudimentary conversation, but they were thinking about launching it out of a submarine. The first flight we can credit to Ed Sam Shannon did the first flight. So good old Ed was the guy who can be credited with getting the first flight, although it was kind of by accident. And then they had an official first flight a little bit later. And then the airplane kind of moved into the testing phase. And everything goes down the tubes when you have an aircraft break up. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, what we're going to do is we are going to do our salute. And our salute today is all those mad scientists at Convair. Convair did all kinds of stuff. We've talked about some of it in other Warbird Wednesday episodes. They were just absolutely amazing, and pushed the envelope on design. And they built the 102 and the 106. They figured out the area rule, and then they kind of moved forward. But with all these consolidations, later they've kind of gone away. But they were really a groundbreaking group of engineers. So I am going to salute you. And today I'm going to salute you with Captain Eli's Orange Pop. Now, pop is definitely an East Coast term. We would call it soda out here. But if you're East Coast, it's pop. 140 calories. Looks like comes out of Maine. So that's interesting. I do not see a California redemption certificate in this, so we'll see whether or not Jason poisons me today.
The battle of wits has begun. It ends when you decide and we both drink.
Ooh, there was a fizz. That's a good sign. No death for me today. Well, go ahead. So to all you Convair engineers that push the edge of the envelope, I salute you. Has almost a metallic taste. Jason, this might have been better if it were refrigerated. Did you have it refrigerated? No. Okay, well, there's the answer right there.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Second swig, not nice. Jason's smiling, and of course he's achieved the desired effect.
Who are you?
I am no one to be trifled with. That is all you ever need know.
So when I talked about supersonic speeds, the second prototype actually had the J46 engines installed, and guess what? In a shallow dive, it went supersonic. And so the airplane, this is the only seaplane that went supersonic. I talked about the breakup and the loss of the program. That was pretty much the end. They went into storage, and they were actually, some of them were held out until 1962, and then they were struck. 4 survive in museums, and the one that's close to us, which is the San Diego Air and Space Museum right outside the entrance. You go see it. Very interesting airplane. Makes sense that it's down there because the airplane was tested quite a bit there. But then it went off into history, and because they had solved, by the time they were ready to strike the program, the Navy was already kind of lukewarm on the thing in the late 50s. They had solved the whole supersonic issue. And so the whole reason for doing this airplane kind of went out the window. And that is all she wrote. She moved into history. Now, if you are sitting at home and you want to build a modern warplanes puzzle, have we got one for you? Jason personally drew and colored each one of these airplanes, cut up the puzzle, and he has put it in the box. That is not true, but this is a great one. This is suitable for framing, or if you've got kids, to keep the kiddos busy. This is a great opportunity for you to have a really unique puzzle. Click on that link, and we will happily send one out to you. I am standing in front of the F-102 that we restored. Over 2,000 man-hours went into this aircraft. We can't do that without your support, so click on that link, give us a donation so we can continue to do all this cool stuff and do the exhibits. We would greatly appreciate it. If you are teaching the kiddos at home, the education links are included in this video. Go ahead and print that stuff off. It is free. You can do one lesson. You can do a whole bunch. And if you came across us on Facebook or YouTube, please give us a like or a subscription and a comment. We love your comments. That's how we came up with this kind of aircraft grouping that we're going to go with for about the next 8 weeks. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, end of test. King was a go.
Rise to the blessed day, all my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked. But ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the perfect imitator. We'll give away all your music to the operator. We were born with a light to shine, and we can do it in our lifetime. And then we get the balance right. Oh, we're riding on the satellite. Satellite.
We're here also.
I was walking down the park, saw them hitting the beat. The sound that emanated, it was really sweet. Told them of a shyer man bitten twice, and gave a little old school good advice. Pretending's not the thing, got to be yourself. Honesty, integrity, happiness and health. Bending to the needs of others ain't the way. Be true to yourself and let the music play. Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the